Hello everybody. I hope everyone is well, and it is exciting for sure to see so many people here, obviously through a genuine connection to know more about people's experiences with life with impaired vision. That is kind of funny because it was only a year ago that I was where you are, in the audience, when I was attending my first info day, wondering what you probably are, no doubtably now. Do you have the answers for me? At such a time in my life, I believe speakers on such occasions had it all worked out. They had conquered adversity, defied every challenge, and were on the other side. I've had to urgently reframe my view though, since I've been asked to speak warmly today. And on that note, I should extend a great thanks to Renee O'Kane. I now take the approach that perhaps something we all share in like a thread is that we have learned adversity isn't something you conquer, but rather something you interact with and dance with, deal with better over time through wisdom and experiences gained, and through personal growth, learn that it all evolves around the central point of adaptation and change. This is because I haven't made it, but I began to learn a few of these lessons. Before we go too far, I'd like you to keep a few things in mind in my short talk today, and they are: 1, what is normalcy? 2, who or what will give you a good life with impaired vision? And 3, where can you escape when you're grappling with big physical challenges, gain reassurance and envisage your dreams for the future? It is also probably important that I tell you a snippet about me, because after all, hopefully we do become before our disabilities. In describing my personality, I'd say I'm someone interested in people and their story. I like having fun and creating possibilities, and recognise the value of the concept of self-improvement for my own personal struggles with eventual blindness. I enjoy the beach and a good audiobook, and like listening to conversational discussions on the radio. I was born with a significant vision impairment that was noted within a few months after my birth. While my sight has always been up and down a little, as a general sketch, during my childhood and into my adolescent years, I had sight that enabled me to see where the buildings were, where the paths were, to know what I was wearing and what was on my dinner plate, and to read quite in large print. Critical vision, vision that was useful. Fast forwarding, I suppose, to a week prior to my 17th birthday. As we know, 17 symbolises a great new claim of liberation and independence, with the ability to gain a driver's licence, develop one's life external from the family unit, and to enjoy the socialising and other responsibilities that present. It was at this time that I was having my third corneal graft, but this time things were a tad different, as the 2 previous occasions had been focusing on enhancing my vision, where this transplant was now an attempt to restore it. While the surgery was a success, unfortunately it didn't improve my visual outcomes. So this would be a major shift in how to interact with life on a day-to-day level, not to mention in my more major endeavours such as my senior studies, which were now looming prominently, only about 10 days' time prior to going into Year 11. On the note of my education, school was never easy for me personally. The overarching challenge I found was bringing things together in a smooth and flowing experience that would enable relative ease for me to complete my work in comparison to my sighted peers. There were strategies and supports in place, but unfortunately systems did fall over, and at times there was a lack of awareness of how things should best be done for a student with impaired vision. Everyone did their best, and you do develop truly some meaningful, ongoing friendships with all the people who support you. A couple of the challenges were around visual-orientated equations in maths, like geometry and algebra, say film study in English, and the practical aspect of science, for example. It was also influenced by my personal circumstance, whether it be up until or during my senior years. From day one in my primary education, I resented developing competency in, or even learning Braille and other technologies as appropriate that would benefit me. Even though it was totally impractical to read by such large print that may only allowed for a dozen or so words on the page, that must have been where I was at in my journey of acceptance. But on the other hand, my world had a lot of familiarity and clarity to me, as it was the world I had always known, up until around the time I was 17. In Year 11 though, after my sight had deteriorated, I'd have no choice but to adapt how I interacted with the world, as I said, and how the mediums by which I would learn. I think a key message that will become clear is that when you face adversity, you have to pick your battles. It became evident quickly that I wouldn't experience a full self-transformation and develop daily and broadly practical independence required on such a new level, while also completing my studies in Year 11 and 12, which are demanding for sighted students. I had to realise and accept the only way I'd get by was having a lot of help from school and home, which I was extremely fortunate to receive. In reflection, it would be the experiences that I had in my senior studies and in 2016, which is my first year transitioning into life beyond school and into the sighted and seeing world, that would really shape my perceptions on what it means to negotiate the shadow of adversity. 2016 has been a major time of challenge, growth, acceptance, self-realisation and understanding. A period where I've had to redetermine my goals and set new focus. I'm currently in pursuit of a life that's liberating. Liberation is good, I find, because it gives me ultimately choices. Personally, it will come through a combination of independence, support, the use of resources, and to action my life through self-initiative of what I want and need to do in my endeavours. I suppose at the moment, since I've been focusing on my education up until kind of this year, as I've painted, I haven't developed independence on any real way or level. So that is kind of my goal for the next period of time, is to develop some independence to reduce the impact my vision impairment has on my life so I can get on and live a young and productive life. It's probably taken up until a couple of months ago for me to regroup myself and begin actioning my life. It's a process within itself, but how we can view our situations and our worlds may become clear in my key messages. My key messages. Obviously, it's become clear from this last part that goals are important. I think we need to have a goal and work out how we can achieve it. I'd say your disability is a part of you, but not defining. That is why you are a person with a disability and not a disabled person. There is no normal. So believe in and follow your heart for the challenges and opportunities you are facing, as they are all relevant to us at individual and unique stages. So everyone's journey is different. Take inspiration from, but do not aspire to live your vision impaired role models' lives and follow the train tracks of our journeys. It's your life. It won't be easy, but certainly be possible. In those moments though, when you do need a release from physical boundaries and limitations, you can go to a place of power. Harshly, we cannot control what happens to our bodies, our ability to see, hear, or walk. And it is only when we face a certain level of adversity that we become grounded, look at and appreciate what we do have. For people with physical disabilities, that is our minds. Our minds are an extraordinarily powerful tool that is either your friend or your enemy. So obviously I suggest you make it your friend. We can go here when we need reassurance, firstly experienced through hope and belief, prior to moving to knowledge that a good life with eye disease and impaired vision is possible, all forms, all degrees. Finally, as my closing quote, when you need some motivation to kick on in a world where 20/20 vision is almost a luxury but taken for granted, please remember, you don't become a true sailor in smooth seas. Thank you very much.